What's up, YouTube? This is going to be your guide on how to use Eternatus in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'll be providing some competitive movesets and some fun meme movesets too. If there's a Pokemon you'd like to see me cover, put it below in the comment section of the video and let's get into it. So, legendary Pokemon today. I thought I'd do a guide on Eternatus because it may not, I don't know if it'll be in the next games and such. And I'm kind of interested in doing it. So I've done a couple of other legendary Pokemon and I do plan to do all of them. So, Eternatus, of course, is a wonderful Pokemon. Poison and Dragon is incredibly good typing, and its stats are extremely good as well. So, a great special attacker, overall bulky as well, and it has a lot of good things going for it. So, the first set we're going to have a look at here is going to be a typical special sweeping set. So what I'll do, of course, I'll go over some singles, some double set, some counters, some teammates, all that sort of stuff. I've even sort of thought about a set that could come back in the Indigo Disc DLC as well, some moves and stuff like that. I was just thinking about it the other day when I was coming up with some of these sets. Okay, so the first set I would probably suggest is a straight-up sweeping set. So, of course, Dynamax Cannon is a great move there. You got 100 base power, 100 is actually no drawbacks. A very, very powerful move. Very, very good. Now, you've got a fire move. Fire move is important on Eternatus because of a steel-type Pokemon. And you can either go for Fire Blast or I'd go for Flamethrower. Now, the only thing if you're running Fire Blast, you might find yourself running out of PP because you've only got 8. And generally, if you're playing this, you'll be playing other legendary Pokemon too, and they'll have the ability Pressure. So, that's sort of up to you what you'll pick. Fire Blast gets a lot more base power there, and, Flamethrower a little bit less. Now, we've got Sludge Bomb on here as a nice poison type move. So, decent base power there, 30% chance to poison, which is good. Now, the last move slot is always an interesting thing on Eternatus because it can do so many different things. So, I gave this one Modest Nature and I gave it Max Speed, Max Special Attack. So, after 1 Agility, it's going to outspeed everything and it's got the bulk to do it too. So, I believe that's definitely a viable, sort of like move you could put on there. So, with Life Orb, you could run Life Orb. I'm thinking heavy-duty boots. That could be an option too. You could have Black Sludge. I mean, there's a lot of good items that could actually work on this Pokemon. Another move you might have on there, it's probably might be a little bit more suited to Life Orb, would be Recover. And if I had Recover on there, I would adjust it to Timid Nature then. So we've got Max Special Attack and Max Speed. And with Life Orb and Recover, you can recover your damage off there. And it's a very, very fast Pokemon too. It's going to be doing lots of damage. So, as for the Terra type, I think Terra Fairy actually works pretty. You could either go Terra Dragon or Terra Fairy. The reason why I'd say Terra Fairy is you come across a lot of Dragon type Pokemon. If you go Terra Fairy, it's not going to affect you, and then you can hit them with a Dynamax Cannon. I probably wouldn't have Terra Blast Fairy on there, per se, because you've already got Dynamax Cannon, so it's a bit of a waste having Terra Blast Fairy on there, so I'd probably opt that to have, Recover Agility. Another move you could have on there, it isn't bad, say if you've got a free sort of turn, or you could set up Toxic Spikes as well. That's actually another thing you could actually set up on there, but I'd probably have Recover or Agility before I had, Toxic Spikes on there. There's other Pokemon that could set them up, or you could do a different Eternatus build, which sort of suits it better. So that would be what I would do for a sweeping set for Eternatus. Now, this next set is really, really scummy. So this is my Cosmic Spin set. It's completely scummy. So this is designed to poison the opponent, trap them in, and make their life a living misery. So we've got Black Sludge as the item, of course. Quite a detrimental item to other Pokemon too, if they want to go for a switcheroo or a trick or something like that. So they'll have to they'll take damage, or maybe I'll think twice about getting rid of the item. We've got Dynamax Cannon, Toxic, which is great, Recover, and Fire Spin. So Fire Spin traps the opponent in there, and we've got Recover and Toxic too. So you just keep going, getting your Toxic down, and then, Dynamax Cannon and Fire Spin traps them in. Now, another move you could use on there that I've seen work as well is Cosmic Power. So this would just be pure and utter Toxic Stall, which can work if you've got the right Pokemon on your team. Obviously, you've got other Poison type Pokemon that could come into this, and Steel type Pokemon, they would be an issue. So you'd have to have something to get around those types if you wanted to do something like that. Cosmic Power would just make it ridiculously bulky. Or if you wanted to, you could just pop like Flamethrower on there. You know, that would sort of at least sort of do your coverage for a sec. I kind of like Fire Spin's more of a meme though, but it's kind of interesting. Like you could get that going, or if you had Toxic Spikes down on the floor, you could have Fire Spin or something else like that. But this can definitely be a bulky Pokemon. You can either run at max health and max speed. Another one you could do is like, let's say for example, maybe you could put a bit into like health and make it special defensive, so that way you could tank a lot of those real powerful special moves. I could see that working for sure, like, you know, real powerful, like maybe like water type moves and like Kyogre and things like that, depending on like, depending on what sort of like Pokemon you're playing against. I'm trying to think, like, you'd be using legendary Pokemon versus legendaries, I'm assuming. Whatever rule set you're playing. So you could run it specially defensive. I could see that working. Trying to think of some other builds, like... But yeah, you could go for this, like, fully, like... This is more of a troll set, though. Like, this is definitely, like, a troll set. So you'd be trapping them in and just Dynamax cannon and you're just healing off. So... basically just going to make the opponent's life a living hell. So there you go. Another way you could run Eternatus. Bit more of a meme set there with Fire Spin. Next role you could... I went with Terra Poison. If you really want to do Terra Fairy, you could as well. I've got probably more of a fully complete Cosmic Power set, which I'll probably do in a bit. But that's another one you could go for there with Cosmic Power. Or you could do... I don't know. You could... I would have this. I would have Cosmic Power. Just the last bit on this set. I would have Cosmic Power and I'd have a Pokemon to set up the Toxic Spikes. That way you don't have to waste to having Toxic on there. So that'd be how I'd go about running that. It's just a pain to... it's such a pain to... to get around. Once you got a couple of Cosmic Powers there, it's going to be very, very hard to feint. And you also, with Terra Poison, or just normal Poison, you can't poison this damn Pokemon. So, and it's got pressure as well. So it's going to be a real pain to get around. Alright, next set here we got. I feel like this could be run as a viable Toxic Spikes Pokemon, a defensive sort of wall and phaser with Dragon Tail, and Venoshock as well for double base power. So you got like a lot of different things who are working for you. So we've got Max Health and Max Defense Bold Nature, so more of a defensive set. Now, Eternatus is weak to ground as well, so this is why I've sort of done it as more a defensive set. And we've got Toxic Spikes laid down, and then you're sort of phasing through the team with Dragon Tail. And once the opponents are poisoned, you can hit them with a Venoshock. So Venoshock is going to be a double base power move. And it's going to be very, very nice because you're going to be hitting them super hard. And, you know, with no special attack EVs, it's still going to do a lot of damage off a thumping 145 base special attack. You know, that's incredible offensive stat, you know. And even with no speed, you're still very, very fast. So there's a good chance you can probably outspeed the next Pokemon anyway. The other move I've got in there is Recover, of course. And you could either go Rocky Helmet or Black Sludge. Something along those lines, I would say, for like a more of a defensive set here. Terra-type Poison is probably... I guess that's probably best. I was thinking you might be able to run like Terra Flying on it too. That way you could at least get around those like ground-type Pokemon. If you got any other ones you recommend, let me know or put in the comment section. I'd like to share what people think. But I would say for Eternatus, just in general, I would either go Dragon, Fairy, or... yeah, probably Dragon or Fairy, maybe Flying. And that's about... maybe Water. Water wouldn't be all that bad as well. You know, because you could get around, like, any opposing, like, water moves or ice moves and stuff like that. That could possibly, you know, more as a swap-in Pokemon. Because a lot of Pokemon are weak to those moves. So, that's probably how I would run that. As more of a defensive wall. Sort of just, you know, you could couple it with another Pokemon with Stealth Rock. Whether it be, like anything like Stealth Rocks or Spikes would be handy. Like a Skarmory. Skarmory would make a nice partner for this because Skarmory is immune to ground and Eternatus can swap into any fire type. Skarmory is also immune. Well, it's not immune. It's not going to take not very effective damage from Psychic. So that's another way as well. And of course, you could swap in the Eternatus any electric type moves too. So there you go. Bit of synergy with those Pokemon there. Just one suggestion. Let's have a look at some doubles and VGC style with this, whenever you could use it in the whatever format. Now, I do have some counters, of course. I've got some counters and some teammates here I've sort of thought about. I've even thought about a couple that might come back into the game too. And I've even got a set there that you may be able to use in the DLC. Coming up, the DLC that's coming up. I hope this will come back. It's quite a cool move. Anyway, so you could probably definitely run, I want to say this straight away, you could probably run that in doubles and still be okay. Maybe Flamethrower over Fire Blast, but you could definitely run that. I may put Protect on there. I would probably put Protect on there. And I might have something like Air Balloon, right? That could be another way to run that set in doubles, sort of just on the spot thinking there. So you got that going for you. Or you could have Shuka Berry. That could be another one. So Shuka Berry, that's another option that you could go for there. That way, you don't have to terror right away if you see a ground-type Pokemon. That's another option you could have. But anyway, just one you can look at there. This one, actually, it turns out it gets Gravity, which I thought's really, really cool. So you could have it set up Gravity. Then you got your Fire Blast going on there. So you get an additional 1.67 in accuracy. Well, you're obviously you got no ground immunities, but you're weak to ground anyway, so it doesn't matter. I've got Fire Blast, Draco Meteor. So these moves are your lowest accuracy moves that you kind of get there, which would be cool. And then we've got Sludge Bomb on top of that for coverage too. I've got a Jetpack on here, which I thought would be quite good as sort of like a pseudo pivot. So you can get that pivot going with the Draco Meteor. And then you could bring it back in for a Terra-type Dragon. And since you've Terra'd, you could probably pop like 2 of them and then before you have to swap or, get some really, really good damage. So, I don't know. I think this would be quite a good set there for doubles. So we've got Max Special Attack and Max Speed, Timid Nature, of course. And, you've got some pretty good firepower there with Draco Meteor and Fire Blast for coverage. And, of course, Sludge Bomb too. So, yeah, I like that Eject Pack too. That sort of that can create something, especially if you've got maybe an Intimidate Pokemon on the field, a Drizzle Pokemon in your team, that can, depending on what you run, there's like a million different things you can run there for sure. Now, I want to go over a couple of teammates, especially for, singles, doubles, and any sort of counters too. So let's start off with some teammates. So I'll just put some of them here. So we're talking about Skarmory before. But we've got to mention Corviknight too. So Corviknight, virtually the same reason for Skarmory. We sort of went over that already. Another good one too, maybe, especially speaking of legendaries here, maybe Calyrex Ice Rider. They wouldn't be too bad getting around some of those ground Pokemon. And also as a swap-in for Psychic too. And of course Dragon as well. So that's not bad. That could be a good Pokemon there as well. Rayquaza wouldn't be too bad either. The reason I say that because of this flying, you'd be able to swap it into ground type moves and stuff like that. That could possibly work for sure. And then say if you see any fairy type Pokemon, you could swap back into Eternatus at least. That way you'd have that poison types. That could work. Another one, I have to probably mention this. I know that it's not in the game yet, but Yvanto could be another one too as a good partner Pokemon with its flying and dark type. Absolutely great partner for... That's probably one of the best partners for Eternatus. I don't know, singles or doubles, but yep, a great partner there. To counter this Pokemon, so Mewtwo would be a good counter. I'm just doing legendary Pokemon here for sure. What else? Mewtwo would be a good one. Shadow Rider. Shadow Rider is always a very, very scary Pokemon for Eternatus. Be able to outspeed it and completely just dominate it. Another thing to mention there, Yvanto is great to get rid of Calyrex with Sucker Punch, so that's why they kind of work well together. That's why I thought I'd mention that. How about Tyranitar? Tyranitar's not bad as well. Tyranitar. I'm just talking about the straight counters here. Heatran's kind of interesting too. With its, you got Flash Fire there, which is good. It resists Dragon and Poison. Actually, that's a very, very good counter for sure. So that's another good one. Groudon. I'm just thinking of other ones there. Groudon will make another good one too. Groudon wouldn't make a bad partner either with setting up that Stealth Rock, you know. That's not a bad partner in crime there for Eternatus. Even Doug Trio. I mean, I know it's not the great, like, Arena Trap Earthquake would be nasty for Eternatus. And probably have enough bulk to live one, though. We have any Pokemon that aren't in the game? Like, I'm assuming they might bring the legendaries back, so I'm thinking Necrozma could be a good one as well. Like, just normal Necrozma, so that could be another good counter there too. And, like, Zygarde, like, another one too. But I don't know if they're going to come back in the game. If they do, you've got some counters there anyway. Now, speaking of things not coming back in the game, Meteor Beam, right? Who misses this move? So, I know that you can't get it yet. But if they do bring back Meteor Beam in the next DLC, I want to suggest this set. So, I don't know, if you are watching this video and the DLC's already come out, the second one, and Meteor Beam's back in, put it in the comment section. That would be really, really funny. I'm trying to predict the future here, right? If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but I'm sure down the line it'll get Meteor Beam again. So, this will be sort of more, I guess you could say, a guide that could be good in the future too. So Meteor Beam is a great move there. It boosts special attack and takes 2 turns to boost up. It works very well with like a bulky cosmic power set. It's a sweeping set, but you got like recovering cosmic power to make yourself more tanky. And then Meteor Beam, you're going to get an instant special attack boost there. And you've got Dynamax Cannon for coverage too. It's going to hit very, very hard, and you're going to be very, very bulky as well. I'd say Terra-type Fairy would be quite nice too. There are other like little funny options like Solar Beam. You might be able to run with Power Herb too, but I think this, you know, sort of works. But I just wanted to mention that said, I know that you can't use it now, but it would be cool if you could be able to use Meteor Beam again. It's such a momentous move, you know, boosting your special attack, you know. I think it's very, very good. And there's a chance of it coming back there. Be funny if it did. Anyway, let's have a look at a PIMPNITE special here. We always have to include a PIMPNITE special. So we got a physical Eternatus. This set's going to be incredible. So it's actually pretty funny. It gets Dragon Dance. And it actually gets a couple of okay moves there. But it's pretty dreadful all around. Now, we've got max attack and max speed, Adam Nature. We've got Dragon Dance to boost up its at very, very average attack. We got Gong Troll, which is actually a good physical move for it. We got Fly, because we're going to be running Terra-type Flying, getting around them, you know, those ground-type moves. And, you know, if some mean person burns me with Will-O-Wisp, well, we've got Facade to back it up and hit him super hard for a thumping 140 base power, you know. So, it's an incredible PIMPNITE special Eternatus set. I know you're definitely, this is going to be the set you use all the time. I'm just kidding. If you want to have a bit of fun with Eternatus, you can go ahead and, you know, use this set. But it's a little bit fun. The thing about its dragon moves, it gets like, I think it gets Outrage. That's like its only other one. So maybe you could do something like, I don't know, like Person Berry or something. I don't know, like, it doesn't even, does it get Dragon Claw? I don't even know if it gets It doesn't get Dragon Claw. It gets like Dragon Tail. At least it get, actually, I don't think it even had Outrage before. I think it only just got Outrage. I'm not sure. Anyway, there you go. A physical PIMPNITE special Eternatus. Let's go over Eternatus' moves and have some final thoughts. I mean, imagine if this came into the game ever. Like, Eternatus Eternamax. Like, look, that's incredible. But, yeah, it's just funny. I knew that wouldn't ever come into the game because they're like the most, like, overpowered broken Pokemon ever. Funny though, looking at its stats. So let's have a look at its status moves to begin with here. We always like to go with some last minute thoughts. Agility, we went over that. Dragonette is only really useful on a physical set, which no one but me is going to use. We've got Light Screen and Reflect, so it could possibly make a good Light Clay user with Reflect, Light Screen, Recover, and Dynamax Cannon, max health and max special attack, Timid Nature. That could work. I probably wouldn't change the Terra around. It's probably better Terra types. We got a Rest Sleep Talk set. I don't think you'd really want to run Rest because it's got Recover. It's also Poison type too, so you don't have to worry about Toxic, which is primarily the reason a lot of the time you run Rest Sleep Talk because they get shut down. Get Sub. That could be another option. It doesn't get any like boosting moves for its special attack at all. Confused by Cosmic Power. We've gone over that. Gravity, we sort of had a look at that as well. Rain Dance and Sunny Day. So it does get the. It doesn't really learn a lot of special like status moves. You know, it's pretty pretty standard there. Let's have a look at the special moves. Let's go over anything. So we went over Draco Meteor, how you could run that with maybe the Jetpack. Dragon Pulse. I don't think there's any reason to run Dragon Pulse at all. I think Dynamax Cannon is infinitely better. Unless you're really like worried about getting into like a long pressure PP stall wall, then Dragon Pulse would be better. But the damage output is a lot less, so I probably wouldn't consider it. Fire Blast or Flamethrower is always great for those Steel-type Pokemon, just for coverage, being a Poison type, that straight away encourages Steel to come in, so if you got a Fire Blast or Flamethrower, that was very good. Now, Flash Cannon is there. I don't know. The only good thing the Flash Cannon could be good for is like Rock and Ice and Fairy, but I feel like you struggle to put it on the move. Like, it's just better moves, you got your Dragon move, your Fire move, and a Poison move, Like, it's same with Shadow Ball. Like, maybe Shadow Ball would be better for like all the Psychic type Pokemon legendaries. That could possibly be better than Flash Cannon, actually. And yeah, we've gone over Terra Blast. I don't know, maybe... I'm not really sure for that one. Maybe if you really want to run Terra Blast, maybe Terra Blast Fairy, that could work, or Terra Blast Flying. They'd be maybe the two options that I would go for there. We went over like a Fire Spin Troll set with the Toxic and Cosmic Power and stuff like that. We had, Venoshocks. Did I do a Venoshock set? Like, you could have a Pokemon, say, for example, any sort of like Pokemon that sets up Toxic Spikes, and you could have Venoshock as a sweeping set. So you'd have, say, max special attack and max speed. We've got Timber Nature. So when you compare it to, say, Sludge Bomb, so we've got 90 base power there, and this has got, well, that'd have 130 base power. So that'd be very, very powerful. But it is situational because you could have a Pokemon on the opposing team that could be a Poison type, or they could get rid of those entry hazards. So a lot of the time, it's better to use Sludge Bomb because you're going to get that base power. You've got 30% chance of Poison, and like, it's always going to be that. It's not going to be a weaker base power for entry hazards to get moved. So most of the time, Sludge Bomb is going to be outclassing Venoshock for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much it for its special moves. Let's have a look. I'll show you its physical moves. It actually gets a few, but it's not that good. So yeah, it's very barren. As you can see, it's absolutely terrible. It wasn't made to be a physical Pokemon, but the only physical move you probably could use on there, like, that's good is Dragon Tail. Like, we went over that already. And all the other ones are kind of, well, they're terrible. But, you check out that PIMPNITE special set. It's going to be very good. That's pretty much it for Eternatus. So, a very, very good Pokemon for sure. Great typing, great stats, great special attacker, nice bulk, good stalling Pokemon too. You could fit this Pokemon onto any team. It's going to be very, very good. But anyway, people, that's about it. I did do a guide earlier on Shiftry if you want to check it out. And for all guides, people, you're wondering if I've done a Pokemon, check out the playlist. And if you've got anything to add, put it below there. And if you want to see a Pokemon, me do a guide I haven't done, put it below. And if you enjoyed it, if it helped you out, drop a like on the video. And I'll catch you next time. Peace out.